Every week, millions of people throughout the United Kingdom buy food from outlets such as food shops, restaurants, cafes and takeaways. They expect the food to be inviting and taste good, and indeed are entitled to demand that the food be safe and wholesome. But is it? Well-stocked shops or favourite cafes are always inviting. But if they're inviting to us, they will also be inviting to other types of consumers that we do not want. Consumers such as pests. The food hygiene regulations make it an offence for any contamination to be present where food is prepared or served. This is particularly important because pests will also be attracted to places where the conditions are warm, the food is good and the drink plentiful. These pests include cockroaches, which are one of Earth's oldest inhabitants, and which are also recognised as one of our most serious public health pests. To see why, we've only to watch their disgusting habits. Cockroaches live in sewers and drains, as well as kitchens. They move from filth to food indiscriminately. They find our food both inviting and appetising, but they are certainly not fussy eaters. For example, they live not only on human waste, but also on the disease-ridden feces of rats. They are cannibalistic, and when they've finished eating, they excrete and other cockroaches feed on this excrement. Then they move on, contaminating food surfaces and equipment, spreading germs wherever they go. Work done by UK government scientists and others has shown how a wide range of disease-causing organisms are carried by cockroaches. They may cause food poisoning, gastroenteritis, diarrhea, dysentery and typhoid. To see how cockroaches could transmit disease, here's a simple test. Butter is smeared around the top of a glass jar, and this is put in a cupboard where cockroaches can be found. The cockroaches are then allowed to run around the agar culture dish, and by speeding up the film we can see how the microorganisms present on the cockroach can contaminate working surfaces. Just one cockroach can carry thousands of germs. Cockroaches are known carriers of a range of bacteria. It's not surprising therefore that they cannot be tolerated in food premises. Not that it's only cockroaches that are a threat to health. Flies also have dreadful habits. They too feed on animal droppings and rotting flesh before landing on food prepared for us. The trouble is that flies cannot eat solid food, so to be able to eat it, they have to liquefy it first, which they do by vomiting on it. At the same time, they will be contaminating the food with bacteria from the hairs on their legs and their excrement. Then they make it into a form of soup, which they suck back up through their mouthparts. And when they're finished, it's your turn. Food poisoning outbreaks can occur from minute doses of bacteria. Because of this, disease can easily be spread by flying insects, a fact which is rarely understood or appreciated. Food hygiene regulations require that food is wholesome and safe and has not been contaminated by flying pests. All food preparation and retail premises should be protected against flies. But not all flying pests are insects. Potential risks to public health and safety can be significant where pigeons, gulls, sparrows and starlings are allowed in or near food premises. Bird droppings can contain organisms that cause respiratory problems and food poisoning. Apart from insects and birds, there are four-legged pests whose presence in food premises is quite unacceptable. Rats and mice have long been known to damage property and start fires. They're also prolific carriers of the microorganisms responsible for a number of human diseases. By spreading viruses and worms as well as bacteria and fungi, they are responsible for skin diseases and respiratory infections. Many of them also carry in their urine the bacteria that causes rat-borne leptospirosis, commonly known as Weil's disease. This illness is fatal in a significant number of cases. What is particularly worrying is that rat populations are reported to be on the increase in urban areas. Even the little mouse, all too often regarded as a fact of life in kitchen areas, is a dangerous health hazard. Its fur and feet are hosts to many bacteria. It has a weak bladder, and as it moves from surface to surface, satisfying its curiosity, it dribbles urine wherever it goes, on worktops, equipment and food. This urine can contain organisms which cause disease. Is it any wonder, therefore, that rats and mice must never be allowed where food is prepared? In view of the danger to health from contamination, the food hygiene regulations make it an offence for pests such as insects, rats and mice to be present in food preparation areas. Every owner or manager of a food business is responsible for ensuring that their premises are kept clear of pests. This is why good pest control is a prerequisite of food safety management systems such as HACCP. Environmental health practitioners working in local authorities have a statutory duty to enforce the regulations to ensure that the food premises in their districts conform to a high standard of hygiene.
Use this product and to clean this.
On an inspection, they will look for signs of pests. If, during an inspection, any are found or there is evidence that pests have been present, they will be required to take appropriate action. Environmental health departments will prosecute owners and managers of food premises if they fail to maintain proper hygiene standards. Often these prosecutions have involved the presence of pests. In fact, according to the Chartered Institute of Environmental Health, it is one of the major factors in prosecutions. The cost of being successfully prosecuted is not cheap. Not only can years of work spent building up a good reputation in the community be destroyed overnight with one court appearance, but also the fines and costs imposed can run into thousands of pounds. Food hygiene prosecutions can lead to closures, bankruptcy and lost jobs. And none of it need happen. There are several simple steps that can be taken to keep pests out of kitchens and other sensitive areas. Cockroaches, flies, ants, rats and mice will not live where there is neither food nor drink. By disposing of kitchen waste quickly and securely, pests will be denied access to this food. It's also particularly important to keep your premises clean and work surfaces hygienic. Store cupboards should be checked to ensure that they are pest-free. Infested or damaged products should be removed immediately. Rubbish left outside takeaways is a particular source of food for rats and flies. Staff at fast food outlets should ensure that nearby rubbish bins are cleared up as soon as possible, otherwise they will attract pests which will then enter their premises. This also applies to refuse bins at the back of the building. It is possible to prevent rats and mice from gaining entry to buildings by blocking up holes, especially around pipes. Remember that rats can also enter buildings through broken drains, and so these must be regularly inspected and maintained in a sound condition. Fly screens are available which can be erected over doors and windows to reduce the risk of insects entering sensitive areas. And by installing fly-killing units, any flies and wasps that do enter will be controlled. In large food stores and warehouse loading bays, the fitting of plastic strip curtains and self-closing doors can deter the entry of scavenging birds. Regular inspections should be carried out to ensure that recent deliveries are not infested. Getting rid of places where pests can shelter and breed by removing packaging and redundant equipment is also an essential pest control measure. All rubbish should be disposed of promptly and refuse areas kept secure and tidy. Gulls and pigeons, as well as rats, are particularly attracted to refuse compounds and waste skips. Regularly monitor for the presence of pests. Inexpensive traps are available, which can be placed in vulnerable areas. If crawling pests are present, they will be trapped on the sticky surface and can be easily identified and therefore dealt with. The sticky boards on fly traps can also yield good information on the presence of flying insects. Pest control companies and some local authorities can carry out surveys for you and submit a written report on what they find.
Hello, can I speak to the pest control department?
And finally, and most important of all, if there is the slightest evidence of the presence of pests, you need help. This is available from your local environmental health department or commercial pest control company. So remember, pests contaminate food, working surfaces and equipment. They're dirty creatures and carry disease-causing germs. Neither the law nor your customers will tolerate them on your premises, and reputations built up over many years can be destroyed overnight. It's your business, your career and your livelihood. Don't let it be destroyed by unwelcome pests.